Hello, my name is Matt Freilich, and today I'll be talking about an ethical dilemma that's common in many workplaces, which is nepotism in hiring. And this situation highlights the conflict between fairness and personal loyalty, and we'll kind of explore what it looks like and why it matters and how it can be prevented. So the situation goes like this. Imagine you're a hiring manager that has two candidates for an open position. On one end, candidate A, who was very highly qualified with the right skills and experience. They've had internships and they've graduated with honors. Candidate B, on the other end, is your nephew, a family member, who is significantly less qualified for the role and just doesn't have any internship experience or experience in general. And despite this, the manager chooses to hire the nephew because of familial pressure. The ethical dilemma here is pretty clear. Do you prioritize fairness and merit in choosing the more qualified candidate, or do you give in to loyalty to family? And this type of situation comes up more often than we might think, especially in small organizations or even family owned businesses. So, the reason I chose this dilemma is because nepotism is something that many people can encounter when trying to enter the workforce. And as someone who is planning on entering in the business realm, at least, this is an issue that I could very well encounter. And the nepotism affects workplace culture, employee morale, and other fairness opportunities, and even day to day treatment as well. And it's a strong example of how ethical decisions don't just affect one person, and if you make the wrong ethical decisions, it can ripple throughout the whole company and jeopardize the performance of the company. So, how would I personally handle this situation? If I were the manager, I would base the decision strictly on qualifications on who is best for the role. So, I would choose candidate A in this situation. And to back up that decision, I'd use a structured process, like evaluating rubrics or panel interviews, so the choice is transparent and defendable and clear cut. If I'm pressured by family, I'd explain to them that hiring someone unqualified would not only hurt the company as a whole and the team's performance, but it can also create resentment and damage and trust in my own leadership as a manager. The long-term costs of that decision outweigh any short-term liability. The best way to avoid this situation is to put systems in place that promote fairness for a situation like this could even arise. For example, organizations can establish clear policies and work with HR that extremely discourage nepotism in any form. Structured hiring practices like blind resume interviews in which they don't know exactly who is being interviewed, they can't have any family ties to determine who the best candidate will be. Training managers on ethics and having reporting channels for employees to raise concerns also can go a long way. Essentially, the more transparency, the more you're able to view who is being hired for this company, the harder it becomes for favoritism to really slip in and mess up the process. So, some broader lessons learned here is that nepotism can do real damage. And, like mentioned before, it can really ripple out into the company if not caught immediately. It undermines trust, lowers morale for those and other people in the country, other people in the company, can even hurt productivity if the wrong person is hired. And as a future manager or future professional, it's important to remember that ethical leadership means separating the ties from your family, not just hiring someone because they're in your family and prioritizing those who are the most qualified in this situation.